whoa, whoa! Why are we watching that? We don't talk about that, and anyone who uses a hashtag without being 100% ironic or 100% joking is a bad person. Stop it! It's not funny!
It's not funny anymore.
That's better. Music. Music is what we're going to talk about. Music is something that people listen to every day, even if it isn't out of their own choice. And with music comes...
great responsibility.
No, music videos. Music videos are made to accompany the songs and come in a wide range of genres, categories and marks out of 10 for yay or nay. But before we get into all of that, let's take a look at the most professional video ever made.
Not a stranger, no, I am yours. With crippled anger and tears that still drip sore. A fragile frame aged with misery. And when our eyes meet, I know you see.
So how does my video use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Okay, well let's start with the genre. Every genre has specific conventions which are followed in their videos. For example, rock videos usually feature the band members playing their respective instruments, and pop videos may include a story or narrative and perhaps an annoyingly catchy dance routine.
Before I even began to think about my own video, I researched these conventions and the theorist behind them, Mr. Andrew Goodwin.
Goodwin's theory is divided into 6 categories. We'll start with intertextual references, a quality which can be found in most genres, where other mediums of media, such as films or other music videos, are referenced. For example, in Danny California by Red Hot Chili Peppers, the band is seen parading around in a distinguishable get-up with the distinguishable mannerisms of other bands such as Prince and Kiss. Then we have the notion of looking, or voyeurism, which appears mainly in videos of the rap or R&B genre. No guessing as to what this theory is. Yep, it's women in varying states of undress, from scantily clad to fully starkers and riding around on a big metal ball. Put in more technical terms, this theory emphasises the male gaze theory first stated by Laura Mulvey, where women's bodies are objectified and used as a way to keep men interested in what they are watching, as well as upsetting a few raging feminists in the process.
You win some, you lose some. Next!
The relationship between music and visuals describes how visuals complement or contradict the music. For example, with Still Into You by Paramore, the music style is happy and upbeat, which matches the bubblegum pink and balloon-filled video. Similarly, the next category discusses the relationship between lyrics and visuals, where they can again either complement or contradict. A prime example being the recently released video for Irresistible by Fall Out Boy, in which the band members partake in a random basketball match filled with internet memes and sound effects during a song about being hurt by a lover.
Yes, I can totally see where that idea came from. Then we have a pretty obvious one, genre characteristics. The whole boy band, girl band, dance routines and catchy lyrics in pop. Instruments, heavy meaning and anarchy in rock. And complete and utter WTF factor, I do what I want factors in alternative.
Finally, part 6 is the idea of having lots of close-ups of the artist, to allow the audience to familiarise themselves with the oh-so-pretty faces which will later cause either self-esteem issues
or millions of fangirls flocking to Tumblr to furiously make blogs about wanting to have their babies. The media is a wonderful thing. But Ellie, what does this have to do with your music video and that really long question? Well, I'm glad you asked.
The song I chose was Cut by Plum, a female solo artist of the rock genre. And I chose this after much deliberation where I changed my mind 5 times.
Cut? Might be too sensitive. Poison? Too racy for an 18-year-old artist. Young Volcanoes? One idea isn't enough for a 3-minute long video. Centuries? Yeah, let's do that!
Haha, no.
Okay, well then we'll have to go with my original ×4 idea. Cut.
The song is confusing because although the album the song is on, and therefore the song itself, is classified as rock, the acoustic nature of the song pushes it into a more indie/indie rock genre, much like the acoustic song Time of Your Life by rock band Green Day. With the genre established, I could then begin to decide what I would and would not follow with my own music video. Here we go. First, the use of instruments. This is a major convention in the indie/indie rock genre, and so it would have been an utter plum not to follow it. My song was a piano track, and so I enlisted the use of a modern, keyboard-style piano to use for the shots. I decided against using an old-style grand piano because it didn't suit the modern feel of my actress, and the black of the keyboard matched her costume much better. Conventionally, the artist would be viewed in both long shots and close-ups, and I followed this convention, but the only close-ups I used were of my artist's face as she plays the piano. This was for two reasons. One, so the audience could see the emotion on her face,
And two, because my artist could not actually play the piano, and so any close-ups of her hands would have looked stupid. Moving on. Lip syncing!
Apart from in very rare videos, every music video has some form of lip syncing, whether it be from the artist themselves or other actors within the video. I stuck to the convention of having the artist lip sync throughout the video so the audience would believe that she is actually singing the song and that it belongs to her.
There's not much else I can say about lip syncing.
Indie/indie rock songs often deal with more serious and sensitive subject matter than pop or R&B. For example, Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance tells the story of a man who dies from cancer and whether there is life after death, whereas Anaconda by Nicki Minaj is about people shaking their giant rear ends. And so I followed this convention by creating a video to a song about self-harm and self-hate. To pinpoint the sensitive subject without showing it on screen, I decided to use a symbolist approach, something which is conventional for the more indie and alternative genres. Symbolism aims to represent something without showing it outright. For example, the symbolism of the white horse in the video for Kings and Queens by 30 Seconds to Mars. I chose to represent the self-harm with a red ribbon tied around the wrist of my artist because red connotes the blood and pain of the act, while the ribbon represents the innocence and fragility of the girl and her mental state. The demon, which appears throughout the video and never speaks, is a symbol of the girl's inner demons and how she feels trapped, like she cannot say anything to anyone about her problems. I deliberately used the same actor for the demon and my artist because I wanted the demon to appear as part of her mind and part of her problems, as the audience can see its lingering presence over my artist's life.
Speaking of my artist, nice segue there. It is no accident that I chose the artist that I chose.
She is 18 years old, which would immediately appeal to my target audience of 16 to 21 years because she is young enough to seem relatable to the younger audience, but mature enough to still appeal to the older teens. Thinking of the subject matter of the song, it would appeal to this target audience because this is where most people go through their teen angst phase if they have one. This would make my artist a positive role model for this target audience, someone they could look up to for help and guidance should their lives go arse over tea kettle. I chose my artist's costume to fit the indie genre stereotype, something individual but still reasonably trendy and fashionable. I debated over putting her in a white dress or a black playsuit, and the playsuit won because the black goes with the dark theme of the song, while the actual style of the suit connotes innocence and purity, childlike qualities for a typically childlike outfit. I chose her makeup to be very simple, so as not to detract from the talent she has, as is common amongst indie genres. Everything about my artist, from her look to her costume, is achievable, which would appeal to my target audience, unlike pop videos where the artists are conventionally put on a pedestal and shown as objects of desire to their audience, something they can aspire to but will probably never achieve.
Let's face it, no matter how hard you try, you're never going to be Beyonce. I'm sorry to crush your dreams. Editing! I followed many conventions with the editing of my video.
Throughout the video, the cuts or transitions happen on the beat or in time with the music, for example on a particular lyric or piano note. This is a convention in most genres of music video, unless the director intends otherwise, and so I was careful to follow this in order to allow the action to happen in time with the music. I also used a mix of simple and complex editing, switching between leaving certain shots mostly unedited, such as the close-ups against a white background where I simply heightened the contrast to eliminate the shadows, and highly edited shots, such as the shots split into 3 and appearing on the beat to show different angles and emotions. For example, this shot where 2 parts are black and white and one is in colour represents how she feels isolated at the same time as feeling anything else. This is conventional of the indie and rock genres to use different styles of editing, such as in the video for American Idiot by Green Day, where green screen editing is used in order to have the band members moving at different speeds to create a disjointed effect for the audience, representing how they feel disjointed from society.
Bear with me, we're nearly done for the video section.
I used exactly 5 locations for my video: 3 interior, the editing room for the white background, ribbon and pill shots, the H10 drama room for the piano sequence, and my actor's house for the demon shots. Then 2 exterior, my actor's garden for the tree, water and gate shots, and a public garden for the walking and climbing through tree shots. This is conventional of many genres to use a mixture of indoor and outdoor shots, so I decided to use this convention. None of these locations were fancy or high-budgeted in any way, and this is conventional of the indie rock genre, because as many indie bands come from independent record labels, they do not have massive budgets to spend on lots of fancy locations, and so their videos tend to have a lower budget, realist feel.
Finally, mise-en-scène, or everything in the shot, but I'll mainly be focusing on the props that I used.
2 of the most prominent props I used were pill bottles filled with fake pills, Tic Tacs, and a bunch of white flowers for my demon to hold. Throughout the video, we see my artist's hands playing with the pill bottles, or just the bottles themselves standing alone, and I included these things to add another self-abuse motif alongside the self-harm subject, namely overdosing on pills. It is conventional for indie or rock videos to feature a reoccurring prop or other form of motif to add to the storyline. For example, in Bastille's video for Bad Blood, we see the reoccurring images of the lead singer in various ways to remind us that he is missing. Whenever the pill bottles are shown on screen, they are in close-up and almost never shown alongside the artist's face. This creates the impression that the girl is distancing herself from the act of overdosing, like she is pretending it is not really happening to her. In this one contradictory shot, I have overlaid the artist's face onto a shot of the bottle so it appears she is blending into the table, suggesting the pills are making her disappear as well as her problems. The white flowers add to the overall symbolism of the piece, and are only ever held by the demon, representing the mourning of the girl's mental state.
We're done! Just joking. Now on to the ancillary tasks, the digipack and the album advert for my artist.
During my research into previously made digipacks, I came across the one for Whatever You Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, by indie rock band Arctic Monkeys. It features a man on the cover smoking a cigarette, a theme which continues throughout the digipack and CD template. This appears to be conventional across other digipacks I deconstructed, having continuing themes, and so I decided to use the same idea. It is uncommon for an indie solo artist to be called something other than their real name, for example, Jake Bugg or Kate Nash, and so I created the name Juno Jones for my artist, because the shortness of the names and the alliteration made for a catchy, unforgettable name. I decided I wanted a short name for the album itself, so my audience would not need to shorten it when explaining it to a potential fan, for example. I came up with 2 names, Liquid Rain, which came about from a friend describing the weather, and Better, which came from the idea of recovering from the issues in the song I had chosen. In the end, Liquid Rain won, because feedback told me that this title promoted the album as a whole, as opposed to Better, which was only connected to the one song. It seems to be a convention among the indie/indie rock genre to have an obscure, different front cover as opposed to pop front covers, which usually feature the artist's close-up face in some way or another, like Ellie Goulding's album art for her album Halcyon. I deconstructed this album art from Oh What a Life by indie rock band American Authors, and took inspiration from the lack of close-up faces and the slightly handwritten looking text. Then I created this image. When aiming to make a more interesting abstract image, I edited a photo of piano keys onto the back of my artist, which represents her as an artist who makes her own music, and also makes the music seem part of her. The simple background, a screwed up paper texture, gives the impression that songwriting does not always go perfectly the first time, a metaphor for making mistakes throughout the life. The handwriting style font of the artist's name and album name, along with the placement of her looking directly at it, further develops the idea that all music is written by her, perhaps like a diary of her thoughts interpreted into music. I got my artist to hold a red blanket in front of her for the image, to connect the photo to the red ribbon appearing in the video. This image is the same image which appears on the front cover of the booklet inside the digipack, creating the continuing theme I had wanted to achieve, along with the back cover of both the digipack and booklet, which features simple piano keys. The back cover of the digipack features the track listing for the album, a barcode, and the copyright information, elements which are conventional for every genre of music. Typically, an album contains between 5 and 15 songs, and I chose 10 songs because it fit evenly onto the piano key image. The copyright information is important to prevent anyone from stealing the songs and artwork and claiming them as their own work, and the barcode, quite simply, is there for retail purposes. I used the same font for the track listing as I did on the front cover, and continue to use this font throughout the entire booklet to continue my handwritten theme. Every image features my artist in different locations, some relating to the video and others not, in order to support the whole album, and most of the images are highly edited to relate to the highly edited front cover. I decided to use the reoccurring image of the red ribbon for my disc template to signify one of the tracks and wrap the whole thing together nicely. If I were to do things differently next time, I would make the ribbon more prominent throughout the whole booklet as well, to make it really stand out.
We're so nearly there.
It is conventional in the music industry for artists to use the same image as their album front cover for their album advert. For example, with this advert for Fall Out Boy's earlier album Infinity on High. And so I followed this convention by using the same image and the same font for the name of my artist and album for the advert. I included a quote about my artist from the hit music magazine NME, as this would help to attract fans of that magazine to my artist, even if it is just to find out what NME's opinion is. To let my audience know where they can buy my artist's music, I added logos for the most popular ways to get music, HMV and iTunes. I chose to allow my audience to either buy in-store or download online because it caters for different types of people, for those who like to own physical copies, as well as for those who are purely internet-based listeners. Finally, I added 2 URLs to 2 websites, the artist's own website and the website for my production company Double E Records, so the audience can gain access to information, for example about the artist herself or her upcoming tours. In hindsight, I could have added links to Twitter and Facebook pages for my artist, as social media is quickly becoming one of the world's fastest ways to share information, and this would have been useful for my artist.
That's it for question 1. Take a breather, make a cup of tea, stare blankly into space with the inability to process all the information you've just been given, and join me for the next video.